matters to your lineage. So if you overcome some sort of addiction or something, it actually affects your genetics, it affects your DNA. When you have kids, it makes it easier for them to overcome in their generation. You're impacting their genetics by overcoming stuff. So there's actually a huge amount of value in overcoming things. Huh? My time is up? One more. I want to hear from a lady. Man.
Just one thing that came up for us is that society right now, they're like society right now is like one step ahead because they are talking about sexuality all the time in absolutely everything, movies and advertisements and books, everything. They are one step ahead of us because we are not. We are not producing anything that explains the ideal. We are not producing anything that to share this heavenly sexuality, and we're a bit late, and I think now that we're starting to talk about it more, I think it's a sign that we need to start producing those things. We need to start producing books, we need to start producing movies, we need to start sharing.
I do!
Yeah, sharing this heavenly sexuality. Yeah, that's it.
Aunt Yuna here had pictures of an elderly couple in their 70s or 80s, probably 80s. As
We're not doing
sex educators, right? But, we need to see more couples in their 70s, 80s, and 90s making out. True Father is very overt about that, right? And we can go into more detail, but most of you are not blessed. But he's very overt about his relationship with his wife, right? And again, imagine this weird thing that your father talked about, is that we're meant to learn sex by talking with our parents and even sometimes seeing that our parents have sex. And when I brought that up with people are like, that's crazy, watching your parents have sex. I'm like, what's weirder, that or watching strangers who are paid to have sex with each other, through porn? That's what society's doing, right? I'm not saying that both are the ideal is, we don't have to get into that. It is kind of weird to imagine, but at the same time, my wife just sent me a picture of our 3 sons this morning, and it's like, good morning, and they were all 3 naked in my bed, hanging out with each other, and we walk around as a family naked all the time, and I want to do that forever, and often when I'm in the shower and my sons are with me, they're just like, eh. And it's like, what is this? And we talk about it, because it's who I am. Anybody else here born naked? Yeah. So why can't we be naked around our family, right? So anyway, that's up to you and your family. But in my family, True Father has a very strong quote that says, your shame connected to sexuality is a habit of the fall. The fact that we're ashamed to say the word at church, say the word in public, means that somebody else owns it. We don't own it because we're ashamed of it. We hide it. It doesn't mean we have to go around and be crass or be something we're not, but to hold it close to our heart. Right? And say, hey, I'm a virgin, be proud of that. I have a great story from Jaga, Gavin from America, who was in the Navy, not the Coastal Guard, whatever they call it, the Coast Guard in America, which is like a very macho environment, right? And they were all talking about, hey, girl, sex, what about you, Jaga? And I was like, I'm a virgin. And they're like, whoa! Started making fun of him. If you can imagine, these guys are like Navy guys in a boat, right? Kind of that environment. And he just looked at them. He said, when I get married, I'm going to know exactly who my wife had sex with, because it's only going to be me. Can you say the same about your future wife? And they were like, yeah. And then later, so nobody said anything. They were just like, right? And then later, he was just hanging out, and people just kind of passed him, like, yo, that was kind of cool. They wouldn't say it to each other because, again, they were kind of riddled with shame, but there's a lot of respect. If somebody says it not from like, oh, I'm just a little virgin, there's no power in that. No power in that. But that's part of owning your decisions, owning your faith, is you don't have to go hitting people over the head with your beliefs, but to hold them strong and to not be ashamed of them is a very admirable trait, right? Make sense? Okay, so yeah, anyway, I just wanted you guys to have a chance to chew on this stuff because, again, we don't talk about this a lot. and I wish we did. I wish we talked about what we're really thinking and going through more often, and that's what we're doing. As High Noon, that's all we're trying to do when we go to communities, We had a similar situation like this in the Bay Area, except we had families who were talking about this together. Talking about pornography, talking about sexuality and tribal discipleship together. It's beautiful. Parents and teenage kids, it's amazing, right? So I want to talk about Europe. Because this is, a long time in the making. And I hope we proved our worthiness. Maybe I'll have to come back here 21 more times. But actually, no. High Noon is coming, like I said, in May and June. And we don't know anybody in there, really. We know bits and pieces, but not enough to make an organized effort. So we have, right now, we have David Perry in France, who's going to help us. But part of this is we wanted y'all to start creating your own foundation, to be able to go back home. Because a lot of times, like when we had our big High Noon Summit in Las Vegas, we had, actually it was about 230 people from around the world come have the deepest conversations publicly that they've ever had in their life, categorically. And then everybody was like, so by the end, we were just so high. I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. We've never had any workshop like this ever before. And then they all went home and they tried to explain what happened. And then nobody was like, that sounds weird. Talked about sex for a whole weekend? What? Right? But because they weren't there. So sometimes it's really hard to get people to understand we're not just trying to talk about sex for the sake of sex. We're using porn. Porn has been using us. Now we're using it to propagate honesty and truth and grace and all these things. We're taking it back and we're using it for our own sake, for God's purpose, right? So we're hoping that you guys can go home and talk to your leaders, that you guys can talk to the decision makers, whatever, and just you don't have to sell them on it, but just help them understand maybe a little bit what's going on, because they're going to get a call from some leader, maybe Dr. Balcom, or an email or whatever, and he's going to say these guys are coming, and then we're going to be like, well, you guys were here in the weekend, what's this all about? And just to help them understand the bigger picture here. That again, like there's definitely, the first time we met, there's a little bit of tension, because it's like, you Americans, what do you want to come to Europe and tell us what to do? Like, get out of here. We're like, no, we don't want to tell anybody to do anything. We just want to provide information and give the opportunity to start conversing. And after that, what you do with it is up to you. But we just want to help to promote more transparency and honesty and all these things that we've experienced to be incredibly valuable to move the providence exponentially. And the more that we're doing this, we're hitting this critical mass. The American movement has already started to really shift a lot in terms of what they expect, in terms of honesty and transparency in each other. And we just want to spread that. We've already done a tour of Korea, like I said, Southeast Asia. I did 2 countries in South America. We are going to spend 2 months. I'm sending my wife and 3 kids on a plane to Mongolia, because that's where my wife is from. I'm not exiling them. I'm going to meet up with them, I swear to God. Because I am for 2 months just going to be 100% in on this tour, right? And Sammy's going to come, who's my cohort, and his wife, he's probably actually going to bring his baby, maybe 2, you might see a baby. And then the Wolfenburgers, I'll explain that in a little bit. It's going to be May and June. And I think the plan is, all we know is we're going to start in the West, and we want to go all the way to Russia. And then from Russia, I'm going to go to Mongolia and make out with my wife for 2 weeks. Y'all don't see, that's heavenly. She's my wife. Whatever. So there's the contact. And again, we want to provide information, but we also want to give people the opportunity to talk about the unmentionable. We don't mind. I'll tell you anything about my life so long as it's relevant and all that. We'll start by laying our cards on the table and say, no, now it's your turn, right? And just start the process of honesty, start the process of talking about difficult things. But in the end, we really want to give people the experience of what it's like to have these kind of conversations, right? To be in a room with people that they've known for 40 years, 30 years, or whatever, and to have conversations that they've been avoiding for 40 years, 50 years, right? But in a safe way, in a safe space, so that they can experience love and not just awkwardness. Because sometimes it feels awkward. It's like learning how to dance. Stephen Winter, remember ballroom dancing? We were in New York when we were forced to ballroom dance. And it's so awkward in the beginning, but the better you get, the more you actually enjoy it. Start to feel like James Bond a little bit doing that, right? And it's the same with this process of when you have difficult conversations in the beginning, feels clunky, feels awkward. The more you do it, the more it feels natural, and then it becomes just this exciting thing, right? I'll get into that in a second. But so we really are promoting you to work on, wherever you're at. If you guys are struggling with pornography, to start working on that as leaders, because all of your progress you can offer to the people that you want to help, right? So working on yourself, and if you don't have a struggle with pornography, we all struggle to some degree just to be ourselves, to be honest, and also we struggle to reach out. The comment that I got is that my community, we are not so connected, right? And I would say that's true of most communities in America, most of the communities I've been in, especially between first and second gen. But how much are we a part of that problem? By not initiating these conversations, asking our parents, hey, how are you doing? Taking the time to really be with people, be with them. With no expectations other than just to give them our attention and ask questions to show that we care, right? Also, there's been a critical mass of sorts that's been happening of leaders who are really promoting us and excited about us. And there were some in the beginning who were really trying to push us away, but they were outnumbered by other people who are really supporting us. It's been really amazing. Because there's some tension there, but it's really been alleviated. But if you could talk to your leaders again to let them know what the deal is, what we're trying to accomplish here. And again, we adapt to your situation. We just want to help your community. We honestly, like Uncle David and Aunt Mitsue, they're the founders. I think that's on the next slide. They're the founders. They are just two people, right? And they're wealthy, they have money, but they give more money than they should. Every year they increase it by a significant amount. Significant amount. And Uncle David's plan is to die without any money in his bank. He wants to eventually give away everything that he has. And he's so passionate that this is where he wants to do it. This is where to help this movement become. In the beginning we were fighting porn. And it was a really negative energy. And when I would give these talks, it was so heavy. But we've transitioned into, no, we are going to fight like crazy to create heavenly couples, to create a movement of really heavenly loving couples, right? But that means we also have to take all these things that are in the way and move them out of the way, right?
Right.
And, help spread the word. So when we do come, we would love people to show up. We love to speak to seats with people in the seats, you know what I'm saying? So that would really help. And that, a lot of it is just people, they have concepts or they're confused. So it's like reaching out on the phone and saying, hey, they're coming. This is going to be really good. It's going to be valuable. If you think it's valuable. You don't have to say anything you don't believe. And then this will come later, but we're totally volunteer based. And we have chapters kind of all over now. But in Europe, actually, there's a couple groups in Germany going on. But that's it so far. Maybe something in England, I'm not sure. But as far as I know, just Germany. So we really want to set the condition of going to as many places as we can. Like I said, we have 2 months to just go nuts. 6 countries a day? Why not? Just put us in a plane. Like, I'm willing to just have my hands out like this. You put a microphone in one hand and a coffee in the other, and just say, go get them. Well, that's our attitude. It's like we're all in. So as much as we can cover in 2 months, we're in it. And we view it as a condition because everything that we've done has been on the other end of we sometimes don't even know what we're doing. We're just going all in, and then later when we look back, we're like, oh my God, that was a very clear condition that we just went in. It opens up something, right? Something every time we go somewhere. And we want to help prioritize the High Noon culture, not High Noon the organization, but High Noon the culture of honesty and integrity, of grace and accountability, to uplift these virtues because they don't happen naturally. We have to prioritize them in our lives and expect them of the culture in ourselves and in our families, right? Does that make sense? Because I know everybody wants more transparency in the church, right? I've heard that complaint so many times, but what about us? How transparent are we with our families? We can't expect anything that we don't embody ourselves. We have to exemplify it. The micro and the macro have to be congruent.
That's right.
Thank you, Stephen Winchell. Can you just follow me around? Yeah, that's right. And again, yeah, we want to set up High Noon chapters, but we can talk about that after we go there. This is just based off of whenever we speak to people, there's always a certain amount of people, a small amount of people who are, it's too much for them, and it's very hard for them to hear. The majority of people are happy to hear, but don't quite know what to do. And there's another small, portion of people who are like, let's do this, let's go! And they just want to start something up. And those are the people that we work with at the church. Yeah, so there's myself and Sammy, who are 2 full-time workers, and then one couple. We've started to fundraise, but it's all of our efforts are funded by essentially one couple. And they're the most humble, beautiful people. And they themselves are just trying to be a heavenly couple. And so they're open about their ups and their downs, and it's a really amazing thing to be around. Because I have an extreme, a deathly allergic reaction to hypocrisy. And I can't be around it. And they don't do that. They don't play that game. So that's who we are. There's going to be 4 people traveling, maybe 5.5. Because Sammy might bring his wife and child. So then, anyway. Yeah, we're a grassroots organization, totally, self-organized, self-funded. But again, we always connect vertically, and it saves our lives every time. Because sometimes we get too in our own world, and then we connect, and oh yeah, there's more people than just us. So, but because if you're speaking in your own world, you think your stuff is the most important stuff. But we have to make sure that we don't go off and create our own, start doing our own stuff. You know what I'm saying? So here's some resources. This is our stuff so far. So our website is highnoon.org, and we've worked really hard. Actually, with a guy from Albania, volunteered to help totally give it a facelift. I wish I remembered his name. I met him at Top Gun. Benny. Billy. Yeah, he's doing our website. I wish I knew his name. Anyway, he's been graciously doing that for us. We have on our Facebook page, if you go to @highnoon.org on Facebook, if you want to go to Facebook, you don't have to go to Facebook, I hate Facebook. You can sign up. If you click on message, you try to message us, it'll prompt, there's a bot, and you can get a video every day sent to your messenger, which are videos from our High Noon Summit a few years ago. And they're just about 3 minutes, just little snippets to kind of get you through the day, just to keep your brain stimulated, to keep you thinking about this stuff. But not too long, and they look good on your phone. We have accountability partner training. We have videos on our website that will teach you how to just do the basics of asking good questions, how to listen, these kind of things. I think there's 6 videos, and Sammy and I made them, and anyway, they were refined. We have many more videos before, but we reduced it. So that's totally free. And then we have the Ascend course, which now we have male and female running. It's a 90-day course of videos and stuff that's about 5 minutes of work every day. But you can also have weekly calls, video calls on Zoom. Those are amazing. Those are check-in calls as a group. And then we have an app that guys, I take care of the guys. There's about 10 of them every day that report to me, and I'm their accountability partner. And so that's scalable. I can fit, I think, 2,000 people in that group, but I don't want 2,000 people. But just know you can join that if you want. Also, our latest initiative is a subsidiary of High Noon. It's called schooloflove.org. And what this is Uncle David wants High Noon to shrink and School of Love to grow. Because High Noon is a response to a crisis, so High Noon is, the response to a crisis, and School of Love is creating a new world. That's more like creating Channel Good, because it's learning how to talk to your kids about sexuality from an early age-appropriate stuff. So we're starting to create content. We only have, a few people. This, again, is funded by Wolfenbergers. They're just funding everything. It's crazy, but we're starting. We have some content, but we're releasing stuff every week, videos, different books, and we're starting with young kids. But ideally, within a year, we're going to have content for all age groups. And the idea is that if you have a question as a kid, you go to your parents. Why? Because the last time you did, you had a good experience. It wasn't traumatic. Because right now what's happening is, hey, I have a question, Google, and Google tells you the worst stuff. It tells you all the lies. You want to talk to your parents that tell you with a heart of love. But we have to make space for that as families, right? So it's a practice. So that's what School of Love is. Oh, and that's it. So 5 minutes early, y'all. I was going to do Q&A, but there is no time. But I'll be around until tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, 15 more minutes. Dinner's a bit late.
Sweet. Any questions? Yeah.
I was wondering if you have a connection with the organization that calls Fight the New Drug.
Yeah. So their founder came to our Hindman Summit. I formed a relationship with him. He's my age. He has 3 daughters. I have 3 sons. He's a 2nd-gen Mormon. Super cool guy. He created a worldwide movement. His name is Clay Olson. And we talk occasionally. He's helped us out. He's made videos for us and done stuff. But they're really big. So, like the Las Vegas event invited Fight the New Drug to come out.
To the
And
live.
they're like, yeah, it's $6,000. They're like that big. They talk to the Kansas City Royals and baseball teams. Like, they're huge. But basically, we use their stuff because they made all this. Go to fightthenewdrug.org. They created such good blogs, really cool T-shirts that say "Porn Kills Love" that became really popular. They popularized, this idea of porn kills love. And somehow, Merit of the Age, they focus on how pornography affects the mind, first blessing, the heart, second blessing, and the world, the culture, third blessing. Crazy, and that's what they focus on. So they're really good people, but we let them create that foundation, but they don't have solutions so much. They just have awareness. They're really heavy on awareness. We really want to go a million miles deep on solutions, because true parents created a worldwide family that is healing now. We've been avoiding it, but now we're starting to heal. See, it's amazing. It's like the greatest asset in the world. The fact that you all came from different countries is a miracle. There's no other organization.
That's right.
Yeah. If I had more money, I'd give it all to you. Anything else? Questions? Any questions that came up?
Consider yourself booked for STF.
STF, which is just this ubiquitous organization that lives in the clouds. There's no location. Okay, cool. We have access to the clouds. Now,
This tour that you're gonna make in Europe is open also to outside people, or by this time no?
this time, no, I would say if they happen to be there, be fine, but we also really want to dispel some information about true parents and really get into what they think about sex. Because that's something that's misunderstood and misrepresented. But also what our foundation is right now in 2019, we're going to do every single sub-region. In addition to all this other touring, we're going to go to every sub-region in America to get everybody on board as a condition. And then next year, we're going to say, now, let's invite ACLC, since you've worked on yourself. But I'm again, hypocrisy, I hate it. So I don't want anybody to go out and be like, yeah, you ministers need to hear this. Like, no, we need to hear this. We need to heal. We need to be honest first with ourselves, and then we can help them. Because I really want to help them, but we're not ready yet, I don't think. So
That's right.
the first time around, we want to go around and just deal with our family, get our house in order. That's what we really want to focus on. But again, sometimes friends end up there, and we're not going to push anybody away, but that's not our focus.
Is there a minimum amount of people that have to be in a community for you to come? Like at least 50?
1.5? I don't know. I'm just kidding. No, so that is somewhat beyond our control, but it's like, if you can imagine, if we go to Vienna, but then there's some small ancillary community here, just kind of to the side, then we'll definitely make every effort to go to everybody. But it's just what is possible in time and space. So I don't know, but there will be in between places, because there's a lot of big cities, but we would want to hit up as many people as possible. We want. But it would also be easier logistically if we can get people to come together, right? If they could make a drive for a couple hours or whatever, that would be ideal. We want to have full day Saturdays, but then we want to do the smaller communities on the weeknights, right? So bigger communities on Saturday, do a full day thing, and hopefully have people come in, but then on weeknights do the smaller ones. So that's our plan. But again, we're not making it. We're going to make it with Uncle David Perry. But he's also kind of like, well, how am I supposed to organize this thing, right? So we'll figure it out. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, weeknights, I mean, it'd probably be 2 hours max. The thing is, it's like how much, again, we have probably 12 talks at this point, so that's at least 12 hours of the content. And the hardest part is figuring out what not to talk about. So we would probably do 2 hours, which is going to be testimonies. We'll have more testimonies. Talks, and then we also are starting to get people to talk more amongst themselves because we realize the limitation of going somewhere and giving them a bunch of information and saying, see you later. Because a lot of times people are like, they don't know how to continue the conversation because we started it, but they need to finish the conversation, if you know what I'm saying. Because then it's like, oh, I've already said the word masturbation in front of these people, I can say it again, right? Does that make sense? Because otherwise it's like the thing, the thing that they were saying before, the thing with the guy, but just getting into the practice of saying the thing that's on the tip of your tongue. Anything else? Ma'am.
No, we like Andrew said, we are organizing or coordinating right now the tour dates. Yeah, because anyway, we're working together with the regional leaders, from Family Federation to do that. And it's just also because the venue has to be free and this and that, But actually next week we want to announce them, so it's just a few small cities which are left, and then we'll go out.
Amazing. Yeah, I think you have a question. Yeah.
Yeah, hasn't been mentioned before, but what about same-sex attraction? Can that also be integrated in the presentation, or not?
It's a whole nother beast. So what happened in our first Hyman Summit is we had he was a second gen, who has a testimony about that, and he really wanted to say it, and then we asked our then president, Dr. Balcom, he's like, listen, can you please just try to slay one dragon at a time? We're not open to that, it's too much. And I'm like, yeah, we get that, okay, cool. So then we asked the guy, okay, can you just keep it focused on just pornography and you don't have to get into that? And then he had some crazy, prayer that told him, you gotta say it. So we're like, okay. And then it came out. That changed the landscape of the whole workshop, honestly. But it was intense. It was really intense. And we had the whole weekend to really chew on these things. Because one of the worst things that I've seen that can happen is you bring up something really deep and then you move on. And then people feel betrayed by that because you're like, wait, we didn't address this. So, especially, a 2-hour talk is like, you could go on for 2 lifetimes about what's going on in that realm, right? So we can't, but we can link people to resources. There's an amazing team in America. There's 4 people that are deeply trained in that, and that are like, a couple of them are like, at the top of their field in dealing with same-sex attraction and helping people understand that. It's a very complex issue. And I know a lot of people have different experiences and different opinions, but we've seen a lot of second generation who were in that camp sort things out, start to decompartmentalize and sort it all out, and then work through it. But it's really hard because it's a difficult conversation to have. Because there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of opinions, and we're fed a lot of this stuff. So to really find out what you actually believe takes time. So I don't think we can do it really this time, but it's something that we have thought a lot about. And actually, before Sammy, there's another director, John Williams, who's an amazing counselor, amazing guy, and he himself, said at the Hyman Summit that, he's one of the main lecturers in America, but he was dealing with same-sex attraction. He ended up, getting blessed and having kids, but he's grown to be open about talking about this stuff. So we do have a lot of resources about it, but it's hard. Like when questions come, we definitely try to lead people in that direction, but it's like I'm sure you guys live in this world and understand that this is not something that, we can not talk about. We have to chew on it. But the stuff that we're fed is so one-sided, and it's really hard to gain an objective opinion about it. So anyway, if you want resources, I can lead you there. Because it is really important that we do understand this deeply and pray a lot about it. Because it's heart-wrenching. Everybody is a child of God, right? So how do you sort that out? So it takes a lot of digging and experiencing new levels of understanding of it. I myself am constantly, because I don't like giving blanket answers. Or just like, oh, this is evil, this is good. Like that's not what it is. It's like, okay, how do you deal with this person right in front of you? How do you deal with that, right? So anyway, if anybody has questions about that, I can send you some resources. Also, my email is andrew@heinlein.org, by the way. I don't know what my WhatsApp stuff is, because I only got WhatsApp to talk to Orlando. Because every country has a different thing, right? It's Kakao in Korea. We have Telegram and Message anyway. So, andrew@heinlein.org. Okay? Can I pray? Can I just offer this up? Is that okay? Okay. For dinner too? Are we done?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Please join me. Heavenly Parent, we really, really, really love you. That's why we're all here. And we see the potential. We see the potential of ourselves. We've tasted it. I'm sure everybody here has tasted their own potential. We've lived, at least for a portion of time, within your